Baron Rothschild, back in the 17th century, is given credit for the quote that the time to buy is when there's blood in the streets, even when the blood is your own. Well, I have some blood in the streets, and I woke up this morning just like you and said I'm bleeding even worse. What do I do? How do I react? If you watch my video this morning at 7 a.m., you know I'm very positive on what's happening in the stock market and what's going to happen to my small business, as I recognize that big tech can only grow if they can take their power of democratizing data, democratizing compute. That's why Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos and Tim Cook and Elon Musk are all richer than me because they've mastered compute. Now, the problem they're facing, including Jensen Huang, is how do I grow from here? Mark is saying I've got billions of daily users on Facebook that I'm selling advertising to. How do I maintain this continuing growth in this market? And the answer is I got to get more people involved. I've got to get Kerry involved. I got to get him spending more on advertising. Well, how can I get Kerry to spend more on advertising? I proved to him that for every dollar he spends, he'll make $5 in revenue, and his earnings will grow, and his profits will grow, and his life will be better. So Mark has to do that. And as I explained in today's video, he'll do that by providing me access to his compute through an agent. And he'll merge my data with his data, and together we will make money together. But what about today? What about Warren Buffett liquidating 50% of his Apple? I remember Warren did this once before. I remember seeing a video, I believe it was in somewhere about November or October of 2019, when he and Charlie Munger sat down and said the U.S. debt is just getting out of hand, and we aren't going to be able to pay it, and I'm going to cash. And he and Charlie did, and I did as well. And I profited not so much because the U.S. was going belly up, but because just around the corner in March of 2000, is that right? Yeah, we had the pandemic, and that's what brought the market down. And that's what presented me a wonderful buying opportunity. So, do I think this is another event that Warren has spotted and he is reacting to, and the market will go down, and we will continue to bleed, and it'll be another year and a half before it comes back? I don't happen to believe but that's my opinion, and that's all it is my opinion, that I still believe that big tech wants to continue to grow. And the only way that they can continue on the growth curve that they've been on since the mid 2000s, 2006 and on, with some dips in there, the only way they can is to democratize compute. And that is, again, to make sure you understand this, to give me and you the power that they have to to process data in such a way that it is monetized and makes money. The only way they can do that, they've reached their TAM. They've got all the people advertising that they can. Now they have to make their advertising more efficient. I believe that, in fact, Amazon, Google, and Meta are so good at advertising, and if they merge their data and their knowledge of their audience with the data that I have and the knowledge of my business, that and a TAM of 33 million in the United States that manage their own portfolio, and 33 million in the rest of the world. That if that's my potential, and I can get 15-20% of that market share, and it's an enormous business. And if Meta and Google have the power to make that happen in conjunction with my business model, we could go into a partnership where they guarantee me that we will deliver, for every dollar you spend, we'll give you $5 of revenue, and this is what we want for it. Okay. I think that's possible. And it's not just for me. I believe it's possible for every restaurant who is now not advertising, because they don't know how to. My local pharmacy, who is going belly up because he's not selling any toothpaste. He's only selling prescription drugs, and nothing in the front of the store is moving because he doesn't know how to market it. But Mark does, and Mark knows everybody who lives in the community, and he knows how to reach them, and he knows what turns them on and what turns them off. Mark knows that it's a waste of money to advertise trucks to me on the Olympics. It's a waste of money for this local beer company up in Huntsville to be putting an ad in front of me for beer. I don't drink beer. Mark knows that. He would never put a truck ad in front of me. He would never put a beer ad in front of me. He'll put a BMW and maybe a souped up Lexus or something like that. But right now, he knows who I am, what I react to, and that's his ace in the hole. Now, who's behind all of this? The guy that Mark is buying GPUs from. Now, he just stumbled and fell. He's basically said, or Taiwan Semiconductor said, there's a flaw in your GPU, your Blackwell, and it's going to, and we're going to have to postpone 3 months. Well, what do you think that flaw is? What is the P200 over the P100? It's faster computing power. What is that? More transistors on a small on the same space, which generates more heat. So we got to change the silicon. What is that about? We know what that's about. We know that we have to change from copper wires to photonics. We know that we have to change from pure silicone to silicone with nitrate in it. We know these companies are there, but right now we've got a pothole we've got to get through. So what do? Well, it's like Baron Rothschild said, the time to buy is when there's blood in the streets, even when the blood is your own. That's all I know. I also know that in the history of the stock market, the general trend has always been up. If you pull back far enough, the trend is up. If you zero in, you'll find there are times when it goes down. I don't think this is, I think this is a time when it's going to go down. I think there's been some overvaluation of stocks, but this is the time to buy. Okay, I am going to continue to focus on what I believe is the opportunity of a lifetime for small businesses, because I'm a small business and I have recognized that big business wants to make my small business successful, and they will do whatever it takes, because if they don't, they can't continue on this pace. They have saturated their TAM. They have saturated their market, and to grow, they need small businesses' help. My knowledge, my data, in a partnership with me. And that is what's coming. And it's coming to all small businesses. And if you're a small business, learn this. Understand what your assets are and how they can make NVIDIA, Google, Apple, Amazon more profitable. And if they can become more profitable and stay on there, they will pay you to help them grow. Okay, I've got a video to make. Today is Nita's birthday. We're going at taking her out to lunch. Stop bleeding, okay? And recognize this is an opportunity. You've just not got to understand how to maneuver through the storm. Talk to you again soon.